Hello, Randy. Hey, guy, I thought I would shoot a little video here for you and show you the kind of stoves that can be made out of the cans that you sent me. And this is a finished stove here. And if you look right here, you can see there's a series of holes around the outside. And if you look on the inside, you'll see that that tapers in and goes down. Now what I do, I cut two pieces. And I cut a bottom like this. This would be, in other words, this part. And then I make a cut around this lip right here, right where it starts to taper down, just so it'll go inside there. Then I go up 2 inches and I cut this off here. So I've got a piece from here to here that fits down in there thusly, but of course it'll go down all the way to the bottom. And there's the outside piece is 2.5 inches long. I cut this piece 2 inches long, so I've got a little lip here of the outside piece that sticks up. Now before I put that in there, if you imagine this cut off here, I take a file and I file 2 notches this way, about the length or the depth of a chainsaw file. I turn it 90 degrees and 2 more. And I don't know how well, I think you can kind of see, if you look down in there, you'll see those dark spots. That's the 4, and this is just some crud, but you'll see those 4 little grooves in there. That allows, when I put fluid in here, the denatured alcohol, that allows it to go through those holes and into the cavity area that I've created on the inside. And then these holes around the outside only go through the outside. You'll note they're not on the inside. So what happens is you can use just about anything to start this. A match, a lighter. After you put your fuel in, you usually put about an ounce and a half in, because what you're trying to do is boil only about 1 cup to 2 cups of water to make dehydrated meal or coffee, etc. That's what these are mostly used for. And so you put your ounce and a half of fuel in here, light it, and it'll heat this up. And as it heats up, it'll start giving off gas. Well, that gas will go up in this trapped area and come out these holes. And when it does, then it will burn just exactly like if you ever had a gas stove any time in your life and you saw the little flames come out each hole. That's exactly what it does. And then imagine something a little bigger than this. You set on top as your pot to boil in. That stops the flame from, burning in the middle and wasting gas. And it only comes out here, and of course your pot would come out enough that this burner just hits it all the way around. You can also take, some people build a wire mesh screen out of heavy gauge. I think it's like reinforcing wire or something. It's not chicken wire, but it's just a little bit heavier than that, and it's in squares. You've probably seen it. And they'll make a thing, maybe this big around, not much bigger, but just enough to go around there, and a tiny bit higher than this, and then you can set it on there. And an ounce to ounce and a half of denatured alcohol will easily boil a pot of water. The other thing you do, remember I told you this outer one was about 1/2 inch higher. Well, you take another one and you press it like this from the bottom over one of these. And I use my little hydraulic press that I set rivets with. And you run it all the way down so that this is stretched. And you may notice I have turning die on here. That's what that means, turn die. Then I set the stove, once it's completely done, in the press. I put this on top, and then smash it down, and when it gets to that lip, this round part right here will just turn that lip in and turn it right on over. And then once it does that, you pull them apart, and it's not that hard to get it off. And then I take and set this on a block of wood and take a ball peen hammer and just fine tune that lip and, you know, make it look pretty. It comes out of here pretty good. I oil the outside of this and the inside of that, and it turns it really nice. It doesn't take much pressure. And there's your homemade stove. So if you drink any more of these, I could use some more. They're really stout. They're just dead perfect for this. And I had to sacrifice a couple to make some different dyes out of. So I made 2 stoves. The first one, these holes weren't big enough. Were too big, and I need to buy an even smaller bit than this. This is 1/16. I need one about half that size if I can find one. These holes need to be really small because this one burns really good, but I'd like one that the flames were even a little less than this, although this is pretty darn good. So if you can save me some of these, I'd sure love it. It makes a really strong little stove. And, you know, people get 25 bucks for these stupid things. So I think it's fun to make my own. And the big Fosters that I had you drink, I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to make a pot to go with this, and I'll show you how that works. You take the lid off in such a way that you can use it, you know, put it back on, and you use it to keep your water from just evaporating when you're boiling it, and if you're making stew or whatever you're doing. They're really pretty versatile for the little tiny size that they are. So anyway, if you drink any more of these, if you would save me up, you know, maybe a dozen of them over time or something, I'd really appreciate that again. I think I've got enough to make one more stove besides this one. But it's a lot of fun. I had a blast with it. So and it looks kind of cool being made out of Budweiser. And I'll make a little can case out of something that's just a tad bigger than this. Make, you know, long side, and then I'll stretch the bottom of another one to make a tight fitting cap for it, and put the stove and the fuel and everything down in that. The fuel I keep in these little plastic squirt bottles that are made just for that. You can get them just about anywhere. REI, or there's a guy online I can order them from. So that's it. I just thought you might kind of enjoy seeing the little stoves I make out of them. Take it easy, and I'll talk to you later.